guys, so if you read the title, this video is going to be about sex. All of us love it. I know I do. For whatever reason, the topic of sex is probably one of the top questions I'm asked by you ladies, which is kind of strange for me because in this little fertility circle and group that we're in, I'm the gay one. So it's like, why is all of these straight women ask me if they can have sex? Like, it's weird. I don't think I've had sex with a man in maybe 6, maybe 7 years. So it's been a while, but you ladies feel comfortable with me, so I appreciate it. I'm glad we have this sistership, and I'm going to answer the question for you. Now, and if you're looking for a simple yes, simple no, I ain't your girl, because I'm going to keep it 100 with you. I hope I don't hurt anyone's feelings, but I'm going to be honest. So, to your question, can you have sex during IVF? Yes and no. It really depends on your doctor, your protocol, and you. Most doctors will tell you absolutely not, no to sex. There are a few that will tell you can have sex, but most of them will say you can't have sex. And the reason, one of the reasons they don't want you to have sex while you're in the middle of a cycle or during your cycle is because they don't want you catching any STDs. They don't want you creating any bacteria infections. They don't want you having any yeast infections. Depending on what medication you're on, some of the medications may cause a little discharge. It's not painful. It doesn't burn or anything like that. It's just a little gross. You might have a little discharge. So you don't want to mix that discharge with yeast or any other type of crap, and then that interferes with your cycle. So that's one reason. Another reason most doctors would tell you not to have sex is because they don't want you to get pregnant in the middle of your cycle. And there are a lot of women who have said, well, that's dumb. If it's a chance that I can get pregnant, what's the point of me doing IVF in the first place? And you have a valid point. You really do. But this is the thing. And I'm not trying to be mean, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but when you were having sex before starting IVF, just you and your partner, y'all doing y'all thing, and you didn't get pregnant, that was completely 100% natural, okay? If you have sex with your partner in the middle of an IVF cycle, you are taking injections that are supposed to increase the quality and the size of your eggs. You taking certain medications to increase your hormone levels, your progesterone. You taking all of these fertility enhancers now. So the chances of you getting pregnant by having sex while on injectables is high. That's why it's some women who have medicated cycles IUI, They'll have a regular IUI, but it's assisted by medicine. That's the same thing. So what you don't want to happen is you get pregnant in the middle of your cycle, so your cycle is ruined. Any money that you have spent, that you will spend, and that you're still responsible for spending because that cycle is canceled now, is wasted. Those are things you don't want to happen, you know? And this is another thing. Say, for instance, you're in the middle of your injectables. You're in the middle of your injectable cycle. You have sex. You get pregnant. Nobody knows that they are pregnant the night it happened. No woman on the planet can say, you know what? Me and my husband was getting it in, and he released, and girl, we about to have a baby in the summer. Like, no woman has ever said that, okay? So you don't want to be in that position where you had sex, you had it unprotectedly, they released in you. Please keep in mind that you can also get pregnant from pre-cum, because it's still cum, okay? It usually takes 2 weeks for pregnancy to appear. So you in the middle of your injectable. Some women take injections for 2 weeks. Some women take injections for 3 weeks, okay? You don't want to be in the middle of your injections. You going to your doctor's appointment. Nothing is appearing on the monitor, but now it's egg retrieval day. You don't get a sonogram on egg retrieval day, okay? So now it's egg retrieval day. They gonna take you in the back. They go prop your legs up. They go put the little anesthesia on your face. You lights out for however long the procedure is. And then when you wake up, they say, oh, we had to stop the procedure because it's a fetus in there. Okay? Now, you also don't want them to be in there and do whatever it is that they doing, not knowing that you're pregnant, and then the next day or a couple of days later, you bleeding like crazy and you go to the emergency room and they like, oh, you miscarrying. All of that could have been avoided, because now you can't take no action because they told you not to have sex. You had sex, you got pregnant, you miscarried, that's your fault. And I hate saying that, but in that circumstance, that will be your fault. So it's a little too risky. It's too risky. The entire egg retrieval and transfer process is really delicate. And if you want to have sex like your first day or two on injections, go right ahead, boo. Go right ahead. But I tell you what, by the end of the week, the last thing you are going to want or you are going to desire is anything doing like this. You ain't gonna want none of that. You ain't gonna want any of that, okay? You're not even gonna want to look at your significant other's private. You are going to be so uncomfortable. Like, it doesn't hurt. It's not painful. You're not going to be like, oh my God, my stomach, oh my God. You're not going to be like that. But since the medication causes your egg size to increase, you are going to feel that. And it's very uncomfortable. It kind of feels heavy almost. Kind of feels heavy. And you will become bloated over this time. This is why during, I don't remember what video it is of mine. If I remember, I'll link it at the end of this video. But you are going to be so bloated. You're going to feel like, you're going to feel more bloated than you have ever felt on your menstrual cycle. And on top of feeling bloated, you have, like, it feels like some type of weight is in there. It's very strange and it's hard to explain. But the last thing you are going to be thinking about is doing it. And I'm not trying to shade nobody or hate. You know, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to hate nobody. I'm not hating on any of y'all. If y'all doctors told y'all to do it, go ahead and do it. Mine told me no. Both of them was like, I said, well, can we do it? I remember one time my wife was like, okay, so no penetration, but can we do oral? The doctor legit looked at us like, so if you have an orgasm after oral, what you think gonna happen? It ain't worth it. It's just not worth it. And if you cannot go without it for 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks while you on this, I hate to say it like this. I hate to say it like this. But if you are not willing to at least just put sex off for your injectable cycles, just injectable phase, how serious are you about this journey? Because compared to everything else you're going to be going through, sex ain't that important. It's not that important. So when it comes to sex, I'm flattered that you all asked me. But for me, I'm going to always tell you, ladies, absolutely not. You do not want to do anything that can risk your cycle. Okay? You don't want to do anything that will cause you to possibly ovulate before time. You don't want to do anything that is going to risk your cycle, because with IVF is completely different from IUI. Okay, it's like it's two different sports here. You know, you can't be a tennis player and be like, okay, I'm about to go win the Super Bowl. No, you're training from a total different sport. Okay, I'm going to use that term. And this sport is really delicate. Your cycle can be canceled just because your eggs got too big. You know, they don't want it a certain way. And you're not going to understand that at first. You're going to be like, oh, but I thought the point was for them to get big. They want them to get a certain size, but they don't want them to become huge. If they get too big, that's multiples. You know, if it works. It's just too risky. That can cancel your cycle. If you had a long day at work and you came home and the time you're supposed to give your injections is 9:03, you forgot because you rested, and here it is 10:12, you done messed up. You can't give yourself the injection at 10:12 if you were supposed to give it to you at 9:03. Everything in IVF is just too delicate. Like, sex should be the last thing you worried about. Because honestly, once you start them injections, girl, and your egg size start to increase, girl, and that bloating starts to develop, just bloated, you just feel so blah. You know, you just feel like blah. You just don't feel, you feel the opposite of whatever it is you are used to. The last thing on your mind is going to be sex. It honestly is. So you have to, it's really up to you. You have to decide on if getting it off is worth the possibility of a cancel cycle. You understand what I'm saying? So I hope that answered you guys' questions. Keep your questions coming. Keep them coming, girl. Keep them coming. Oh, one more thing before I go. A couple of weeks ago, I announced a giveaway to 500 subscribers. We are now 9 subscribers away from 500. Soon as I hit 500, I'm going to put the instructions for the giveaway on my IG, and one of you ladies is going to be very lucky. I'm trying to tell you, this giveaway box, y'all, it's lit. You don't want to miss this giveaway box. But until next time,